Welcome to the Back Nine Six Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Back Nine Six Pack. My name is Mitch, as always, joined by the most esteemed colleague, Justin.
We're here despite external forces. We are both here and ready to go.
Yeah, you go ahead and fire that one up.
Yeah, I'm drinking for both of us today. Our guy's running a half marathon this week. We got to keep him hydrated.
Yeah, that and just tough scene at the homestead this week. The springtime, colds and everything have started to hit the house, and from one kid to the next to the parents, and we're running it through.
Yeah, it runs through everybody. There's no one is spared when the kid comes in sick. Everybody's going to get it at some point.
Yeah.
So
my main goal is just to not cough all over this microphone today.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love kids, gotta love family. And we're getting into the busy season, right, for everything. Sports and picnics and all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, once you hit May, it's just like the holidays kick off, school's ending, some vacations, like all the stuff starts happening.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be, we're 5 holes in, we're 5 over. And we're trying to grind it out to break 85. That's what we're doing today. That is exactly what this episode is going to be. And honestly, who knows? Maybe it'll be one of our best episodes. Like, the grinders turn into good ones every once in a while too. So,
yeah. All right. Well, kind of along those lines, I guess we're gonna kick this off. We put in some accountability measures, put them in place.
Gotta stay accountable.
Yeah. A little quality control on the pod. We're 3. This will be our 4th episode in. We got people letting us know, some things we may or may not have gotten wrong, things we might have missed.
Some critics out there.
Yeah.
Which are appreciated.
Look, constructive criticism is fantastic.
The call-in rules officials, per se, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a couple things we're just going to rehash and just, we'll put them in here. And they're noted on the record, we'll put it that way. First things first, from episode 2, we did our golf beer power rankings.
And I would say we both agree we left this one off that we didn't even think of.
Yeah,
right?
this is one that never even crossed my mind, but our buddy Cody pointed out that the Courage beer,
it's a good one,
should have been included.
That's a good one. And a Courage beer can be anything, right? Like you're coming up on a tough hole, you're like, I'm going to squeeze one in before this hole. It could be before we have our shootout in the Stampede. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go up there to that free keg and get a couple in me before I go out and play this shootout. It can be a number of things, right? So I liked it. Yeah. I thought that deserved to possibly be in one of our top 6, at least one of ours.
For sure, it definitely is. It's honorable mention worthy at the least. I like my names. I'd like to coin this one the Cowardly Lion beer. Just need a little courage.
I like it. No, that's good. No, I liked it because I know when we've both been in the shootout for our big tournament, the Stampede, and. I've played in front of people, and I know you now at this point you have too, and yeah, I definitely think I've had a few of those in my life, right? So I like it. I'm glad he brought it up, and we always appreciate stuff like that. At least I do, anyway.
For sure. So that was the only thing we really got on episode 2. Now episode 3, we got hit with a few. Do you want to start with yours first?
Yeah, so I think I said that when we were talking NFL last week before the draft, I said that the Packers had drafted 1 or 2 wide receivers in the first round, but in the Favre area. Matter of fact, it's 1. It was Javon Walker in 2002. They took him at pick number 20, so it was 1. That was their last one they drafted. So. Okay. If I know a couple Packers fans do listen to this in Wisconsin, so calm down. I'm correcting myself. It's only 1, and it was in 2002.
Well, I didn't have this on the list, but I think I mentioned that it was 20 years of Rodgers and Favre. It was 30 years.
Yeah, it's 30 years. Yeah. That was the other thing that I kind of thought about too. Yeah, it was 30 years. But yeah, that was the last time. 2002, they took pick 20. They took Javon Walker as a wide receiver. That was the last time.
Yeah.
And just to correct myself, I said they were going to take JSN. They, in fact, did not, but I did say they were going to take a defensive player if they did not take a wide receiver. So I was wrong and right at the same time. So
that's the best way to be wrong. Next up, you know what? Straight up, I'll ask you: will you apologize to TaylorMade?
Absolutely not. I'm a Titleist guy. You know this. I'm a Titleist guy through and through. I don't know. I guess I've owned 2 TaylorMade clubs ever. One of them I won in a sales competition for my day job, and the other one was given to me. So, no, I will not apologize to TaylorMade. Their clubs are trash. Sorry. Titleist is the best brand around. But, no, I'm not apologizing for getting one of their 75 drivers they ever came out with wrong. The name of it.
I blame myself more for this one. I mean, I worked at Golf Galaxy and Dick's during this era of driver, and I did not correct you. To clarify, Justin made mention of an R8 driver, which did not exist. They were.
I'm not apologizing for that. Not happening.
TaylorMade released its driver. The R series was on the odd years, so it was R5, R7, R9, R11.
Yes.
Thank you to Nick for pointing that one out to us. Next up, we could not think of what David Duvall's sunglasses were called.
The frame type, right? The frame type, and we're cherry picking here, but the frame type was the one that we couldn't. Neither of us could think about it. The big, curved frames that David Duvall used to wear.
Yeah. So shout out to Gunn for pointing out those are the Oakley M frames that he used to wear.
Leave it to a baseball player to know that.
Yeah, exactly. I want to apologize to Mr. Duvall, to Oakley, to high school baseball coaches everywhere.
I will apologize to David Duvall for mistaking and not knowing this type of sunglasses. As a devoted fan of his, not knowing the type of sunglasses he wore, I will apologize to him.
That's a tough look for you, for sure.
It is.
Yeah. So look, we're gonna get stuff wrong. Love it when people point it out. Feels awesome.
We're most certainly not perfect. That's for sure. So
yeah, hit however you need to reach out to us. Let us know how we can improve this podcast.
And we're both married, so we take constructive criticism very well.
Yeah, that's the way to put it.
Yeah. We both got wives, so we take constructive criticism very, very well. Don't hesitate to put us in our place.
For sure. All right. That's enough accountability for 1 week.
Yeah, no, I'm done. Yeah.
Now, moving on to a lack of accountability. League night, baby. We're back.
Oh, we got the email today to sign up. I think I told you, is this not the greatest site in the world? You get that week 1 email. Are you playing or not? Of course I'm playing. Actually, I didn't play last year because I was hurt. It's the greatest email in the world. Oh, I'm so ready. Oh, this whole week is just it's a kickoff to the events, right?
Yeah.
That kind of start our year at the club, and I'm so excited. So excited.
Yes,
Let's go.
We've talked about this before. Our Wednesday night men's league, it's 20 weeks, 2 10-week sessions. It's like a season-long points race, different game every week, different skins game
Blind
every week.
draws. I mean, you don't know who your partner's going to be. Sometimes you're playing with them. It's probably best that you're not playing with them so you don't judge people.
Oh, if there's nothing more electric than when you show up and find out it's your teammate is in your group or it's a scramble night.
I love it. I like it because they keep us on our toes. You don't know what game you're playing. Some nights are team skins. Some nights are individual skins. They kind of try to rotate it just because we do have some higher handicaps in there. They don't want to be individual skins every night, and then it's you have the 25 handicappers. I'm throwing $20 in this pot, and I'm never going to win a skin. So I love it. It's the best ran league. Yeah, I think.
I mean, it is Patio Beers City after.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and then you start getting into the real nice weather, and we start doing stymies. If anybody doesn't know what stymies is, I will feel free to reach out to me. I will tell you about it because you will be playing it at your league night, and you'll be on the putting green until 11 o'clock at night playing this game because it's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more thrilling feeling than when you are able to skip your golf ball over someone else's golf ball and into the hole in a game of stymies. I mean, that's the moments.
And I don't think I've ever won more than $8 in that game. It's always. When I win $8, it always feels like I win 100 just because of the thrill of winning that money. And and then you look down at your phone, you're like, oh my gosh, it's 11:30. and I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yep. Not great, but it's having league night on a Wednesday is like the best of everything.
Splits up the week.
Splits up the week. If for us, we both are, we have families. Like it's hard to kind of pencil in weekend rounds here and there, and when you know you've got at least 9 holes every week for the
I'm getting
summer.
that in Italy at the very minimum.
Yeah,
yep.
That just, it's perfect, really.
And then we've had stories upon stories from league nights talking about, your girlfriend's going to hang out with her husband tonight and all this stuff. And the best part is you play with someone new pretty much every week. Every once in a while you get stuck with somebody that you played with 4 weeks ago, but it's like it's a new group every week, new stories every week. And it's my favorite time of the year. We got 20 more weeks of it. I think I said a couple weeks ago, I was like, we're a couple weeks from having 20 Wednesdays of golf. I always try to squeeze in an emergency 9 before league starts. So, yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah, what's the weather look like for Wednesday?
It's 59. It's not going to be great this week. It's not. But you know what? We're going to get through it. We're gonna fight through.
Last year, true story, I lost 5 golf balls in the first 3 holes of the first week of league. So we're going to try to avoid that this year and get started on the right foot.
I think I shot 40 in our first week last year. So which was actually the third week of league because I didn't play the first 2 weeks because of my back. But yeah, the first week always seems like a feeler round for sure.
Yeah, it was foreshadowing of what was going to happen with my driver for the rest of the season. We need to start off better this year.
Yeah, get off to a hot start. I think I don't even know if I missed so many weeks last year. I think I missed like 6 total weeks last year. So I think I won money in the first session, but I came in like 18th. So I won like $25 or whatever. The goal was to get in the top 20 this year. And as you know, it's hard. You get all these high handicaps out there. If you're a lower handicap, it's hard to win some weeks, Or you pull the guy that's like comes in and is like, well, I'm an 8, but I shot 48. And you're like, oh, great, you're going to definitely be on my team. And then they do the blind draw, and then they're definitely on your team.
Yeah, that's the best is when you go out there and just play like ass. And you come in and it's like, oh, second place because you were just carried all the way home.
Yeah, and it always seems like the weeks you play good are the weeks that you get put on the shittiest team, right? And then you come in, you're like, I did not have my best stuff tonight. You're like, oh, I came in first. Like $15 in pro shop credit. Oh, and we won a team skin? Awesome. I won another $40. So if you play good, you're almost guaranteed to be on someone bad's team. Kind of seems that way anyway.
The rub of the green, truly. Well, we'll have more to come on league night and the events as they come up. We're going to try to get some videos and do some fun stuff with that too, so it should be fun. From there, we're on to pro golf, which you and I can confirm we watched 0% of
I actually watched the last 4 holes. So after I texted you, I felt obligated.
Liar.
I felt obligated to turn it on. I fell asleep for the first 2 holes. I woke up after 20 minutes and watched Finau's chip on 17 from left of the green. And then once he hit it to 5 feet and Rahm bogeyed, I was like, okay, this is pretty much over. But big Tone getting a win.
Yeah.
Not again, it's going to come up because it came up in the Netflix thing that he wins another event with a less than stellar field. But you win a PGA Tour event, you win a PGA Tour event. I don't care if it was Rahm and the next closest person was the 80th ranked person in the world. A PGA Tour win is a PGA Tour win in my book. But I'm also a big Tone fan. So
yeah. So Tony Finau wins by 3 shots at the Mexico Open. I found it interesting that so this is his 4th win in his last 18 starts. Those last 4, he's won by an average of 4 shots.
Yeah, it does seem like he gets out to a lead and no one ever really touches him.
Recently, at least. He's before that, 188 starts before he won. And he was people gave him some stuff for not closing it out, but there's a lot of tournaments where he just got run down by something. Like he didn't play bad. He got somebody got him.
Fluky round and they ended up catching him.
Yeah. So it's just kind of odd to see that, like, man, he's like that's a huge winning percentage, obviously, within the last, what?
Yeah, for not winning an event for a while, that's pretty amazing, honestly.
And to your point, the strength of schedule strength of field, probably not great in a lot of those wins. I mean, he has the playoff.
No, the best one was probably Detroit last year at the Quicken.
Well, he has
or
the
Rocket
win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that one. But all the other ones, I believe, are more of like it's the 3M Open and the Mexico Open and these sort of Puerto Rico Open or whatever.
But you know what I think's cool about him, and they showed a lot of it in the Netflix series, is the dude's got a second job, and it's being a dad. What has he got, like 5 kids or something like that? Like he doesn't. He's not just out there focusing on. I mean, he is when he's out on the course, but he's got a ton of kids, and he's a dad. And I saw a cool video right before we recorded this that it was like 3 hours after he got done with all of his press stuff and after winning, and he was out on a par 3 course on property caddying for his kids out there playing, which I was like, that's so cool. Like, that's why I like him. I liked him before, I knew he was the Netflix stuff and all that, but like he seems so regular, and that's like almost why you want him to succeed, right? So yeah, it's cool. I don't discount him. I know some people do. But yeah, it's a PGA Tour win's a PGA Tour win, right? Those guys, the 150 best guy in the world is still an amazing golfer. So it's not like he's out there, beating high school players and or college players or anything like that. Like, he's still out there beating pros. Right?
I will say there was a 61-year-old man I had never heard of in the field this week.
I didn't know
by the way. That might come up later. We can get to that. I'm just trying to quickly pull up because I'm curious about this. The PGA Championship coming up, I'm sure, like Tony is golfing his ball right now. Like,
yeah, someone said he gained a whole shot via approach shots. So he was at like 1.1 shots gained approach, and he's now like over 2 shots gained approach. So he's hitting greens in regulation. He's hitting them close, and then when he wins, he's converting them, right? Like, he is golfing the golf ball right now, and I hope he gets a major at some point. It might not be this year, but
I could see it. I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, he's first on tour in strokes gained approaching the green, 1.148, which is really, really, that's a big
But from
number.
where he was, I guess, like 2 years ago, he's a stroke better at that than he was 2 years ago.
And a big thing this year right now, he's 25th in putting, which the putter has been a problem.
Yeah, and he made a couple from what I saw of the last 4 holes, like he had some knee knockers that he, the old Tony coming down the stretch, trying to close out a tournament may have not made. But the putting stroke they had a couple close-ups on his putting stroke. It looks good. His toes a little up. I think he's changed the angle of his putter a little bit. His toes a little up. But he also used to pull a lot of putts, so that's probably how he's kind of trying to adjust to not pull the ball so much. But I like it. I like what I'm seeing. I really hope he shows up. I feel like Oak Hill is going to be a really good setup for him. And I hope it's that one. It might not be this year or Oak Hill, but I think a major's coming soon. I really do.
Yeah, I just think if he continues to hit it like that, he's going to be around. It's just a matter of
closing it out.
Yeah,
with a full field. So, but love Big Tone. I'm glad he got the win. And if you did not see his story on Netflix, he grew up hitting balls in the garage. I think that's for people that didn't grow up on a private course and stuff. I think that's the coolest thing. Him and his brother hitting balls in a garage. In Utah, and then if you used to watch the show Big Break, which I loved, my dad and I watched it all the time, and him and his brother Gipper were on there. It's just a cool story, and it's to see someone grind it out like that, and then be on the Ryder Cup team, and then get some wins and make it. That's ultimately why I'm a big Tony fan. So
yeah, so I mean. From Tony's, impressive win, I mean, 24 under is huge. Into our next and one of our favorite segments,
which leads into why this, who we're going to end up giving it to is, Tony won at 24 under.
Yeah,
That's kind of our barometer, right, of deciding who gets us this week.
Everything's graded on a scale.
Yeah.
Right? So who needed the back 9 6-pack this week? That's the question we're asking.
Let's give some runner-ups first. I know you have some runner-ups.
Yeah, I got some honorable mention type stuff here. Number 1, Steve Jurgensen. This is the 61-year-old man that was in the field.
Good for him, by the way, getting in the field. I don't know how he got in the field, but
could say there were some names in this field.
I do know the Mexican Open, the sponsor, the main sponsor, they tried to get Mexican golfers in to the field. That's kind of how they give the sponsorship or sponsors exemptions to. Excuse me. So maybe that's how he got in.
That was not Steve's case.
Kudos to him, man. Like for even being out there. But I don't know what he shot. You let me know what he shot. Go ahead.
Steve shot 79-77 to miss the cut, and he was 14 over, dead last in the field.
Would have beat 100% of our listeners plus us. But for a PGA Tour event, that's a tough scene.
This also included a 9 on a par 5, so I didn't look to see how that happened, but that's pretty cool.
And from what I knew about the tournament, at least watching the 4 or 5 holes I did, the par 5s are pretty gettable. So that's also a tough look too.
Yeah, and I mean, there were just some names.
I'd love to see his driving stats, like at 61 years old. Was he just pumping it out there?
I actually did look at this. He hit a ton of fairways. I think his driving distance average was like 290, which,
dude.
Yeah, but I mean that's.
I know. Well, they only do like 4 holes or something like that, and
I assume it might have been.
There's probably a lot of rollout. Like I just played in Mexico. There's the courses are built on places that are going to get some roll. So 290 on a normal course that what we would play or our listeners would play, you're probably hitting at 265, 270, which is still, don't get me wrong. Like that's for 61 years old, that's still pumping it out there. So
just a couple names I want to mention, the unnecessary drive-bys, but Ricky Barnes was in the field.
Oh my God. That's a flashback.
Boo Weekley was in the field.
That's a real flashback.
Like I just don't.
They were scratching the bottom of the.
We might get a call. We might get a call one day.
who has status left is what they were scratching for in the Mexico Open this week. My goodness. I mean, Boo Weekley's got to have like barely any status left at this point. Ricky Barnes. To my knowledge, I didn't even know he had status left. Boo Weekley, within the last 5 years, has had some good starts. But Ricky Barnes, has he even been in the talk since he had that U.S. Open that he played pretty well? I mean, I don't know of any. I didn't even know he had status left. So that's incredible.
I have no idea. But here we are, 2023.
Talking about Ricky Barnes and Boo Weekley.
Yeah. So, on to some of the ones we wanted to just shout out real quick here. So, Lee Hodges in round 3 shoots 79, 39 in the front, which respectable. We can get that together. But it was the way he ended. Birdie, double, bogey, and the bogey was on a par 5. That's back 9 6-pack material right there. You got to flip the script here. You got to
do something different on the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead, he did not. He had 5 bogeys and 4 pars to shoot 40 to round out to 79. And
did he start on the front or the back?
On the front.
Okay, so 18.
Sorry, I already lied. On the back. 18 was par 5.
18's a par 5, and it's pretty doable too. So that's not great.
And he's, despite shooting 2 under yesterday, still finished in dead last solo. So he definitely needed it on Saturday. He did make the cut.
He did make the cut. He's getting the paycheck. So that's why he's an honorable mention. If we can avoid getting on somebody that made a cut and actually made a paycheck, we'll try to avoid that. But we don't always.
But not with this next person either. So we Jonas Blixt, another person. Oh, man.
Haven't seen his name in a while. Yeah.
He came in second to dead last. I think he had the worst round of the day, 6 over, 77. Shot 37 on the front, not too bad. He didn't get the back 9 6-pack and immediately triples the first hole of his second 9. And then makes another double and ends up coming home in 40. So
Oof,
Yeah, so
yeah.
from 3 under to 3 over in second to
That
last.
sounds like one too many palomas at the pool.
It's possible. These resort courses, you don't know what's going on. Yeah, so, and then, look, I don't know, this is the guy maybe we've had our eyes on. I don't know.
It's not surprising that he's going to get this award.
No, this is a combustible, golf game.
And social, right? Like,
Yeah.
social and golf is just, it's a time bomb. It's a ticking time bomb, essentially.
Yep. So Grayson Murray did not make the cut.
We are 100%. Unlike Jason Day, remember I was like, "Oh, Jason Day, kudos to you for not blocking us for getting this award." We are 100% getting blocked for this one. I'm already calling it because he does follow his social, and as soon as we tag him in this, it is over with.
It's fine.
Or he'll argue with us, which I'll take either one. Honestly,
I'm prepared to get dunked on just all the time, so it's fine. So Grayson starts on the back nine. This is his second round. Has one par and a birdie, but still shoots 42. These are the ones that I think these hurt more. It's
for a tournament that a guy finished at 24 under.
Yeah,
that's a tough scene. That's when you reevaluate your life at that point.
Yeah. So 7 bogeys, a birdie, and a par to go out in 42. Kind of got it back together to shoot 37, but he also doubled his last hole of the day. So to go back to the par.
Oh, man.
So, I mean,
that's tough.
Got it under 80, which is good, but
barely.
Yeah.
But on a course that people were essentially tearing up.
Was that the round that was it Saturday or Friday where Rahm shot?
He shot 62 or 61.
62, I think, right? Maybe.
No, 61, I thought.
Oh, okay.
That's definitely going to be a correction next week. I'm pretty sure it was 61. So you had a guy shoot 61 on a course that you had to grind to break 80 on. That's pretty deserving. To me, that's pretty deserving. And by the way, did he get beat by the 61-year-old?
Oh, on that day. That's a great question.
Because that is, I think he had to. Because didn't we say the guy
he got beat?
Oh,
our guy Steve shot 77 in the second round.
Then that just cements the fact that a 61-year-old
Steve made a 9 on a hole that round too,
and still beat Grayson. Yeah, no, you get it. No, that's like the last straw. It was definitely more of a debate this week, I think. But knowing that
yeah, I mean Grayson, if
we
could have, we would have, sent you the Corona 6-pack at the turn. If we could have, but sorry, we were not paying attention.
Or the Tecates or something.
Tecate, whatever your
I'm more of a Tecate guy, but who knows what Grayson is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that cements it. You get beat by a 61-year-old, and I don't know how old Grayson is. I'm gonna guess he's probably in his 20s, I think. He's definitely younger.
I have no idea.
I don't even care. Even if you're 30 years younger than this guy, and he's out here beating you. So
that's tough.
Tough break. You get it this week.
All right, congratulations, Grayson. You've won.
Please block us or reply because I think that would be. I would love to get in an argument with him.
I'll let you handle that if it happens.
Yeah, shoot it over the press or the PR. Yeah. We'll take care of it.
At JPure90 on Twitter. Direct all comments.
I'll engage.
There. Yeah. All right, that's enough Mexico Open. I guess just looking ahead to next week, and part of that conversation is what I know you wanted to talk a little bit about. We're going on to Wells Fargo at Quail Hollow, another designated event, coming off the backs of a couple, not so designated events.
Yeah.
I think so. Your opinion basically is they have a scheduling problem, right?
Huge scheduling problem.
Okay.
Because if you look, let's just take the NFL for instance, right? Like there might be a week where you're like, oh man, there's really no good games this week, right? There's never 2 weeks in a row where you go to the NFL and like, oh, there's no good games, right? There's 0 good games. There might be a lull or whatever. I mean, the PGA, the fact that they went Masters, designated event, nothing, it kind of takes away from the game a little bit. And the fact that, you just gave people 2 weeks to forget about your product, essentially. And then you had, we'll bring up Liv because that is a direct competitor, right? Where they had boom, boom, pretty good events. I watched a little bit of the Adelaide. I don't, because of the time difference and tape delay and stuff like that, I didn't really watch this week. But you're essentially giving your competitors a window to kind of take away from your audience, right? Like, I think if I had time to watch this week, I probably would have watched the Live over the Mexico Open, just because it is when you have a 61-year-old playing in an event.
It's coming on right after One Tree Hill, so you'd be watching anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. But like my point is like you have a 61-year-old and Grayson Murray out here hacking it around. Like, am I going to watch that or Rahm and Finau? I would rather watch an event that has a slightly deeper field. Now, again, I didn't really have, when we just talked about it, I didn't really have any time this weekend to watch golf. But yeah, they have a scheduling problem because then, like what we talked about, is you go now. You do have a kind of a run, right? Like you have the PGA coming up, you have the Wells Fargo next week, then you have the Memorial, which is another designated event. But I feel like at what point are these sponsors that are non-designated events are going to be like, you know what, we're just not going to have an event. Like we're not sponsoring, one good player or one great player in 80th through 175th being in our event. It felt like in the past you would have a handful of good guys, and then on the bad events, right, that didn't have a great field, you'd have a handful of good guys, and then kind of some stragglers, right? The Honda was kind of the canary in the coal mine for the scheduling issues that the PGA Tour is going to continually run into. The Honda event over the last 5 years has not had a great field because it's, after or if it's slightly before the Masters. That was just the beginning. Now you're going to start to see events that are not designated events and not majors have really, really, really bad fields. And that's not good. That's not a good product. Whether the PGA Tour would argue that or not, it's not a good product to have on the field per se or course. It's just not. And when you look at it, I know there's a minimum amount of events that they have to play, but if Rory's going like, oh, I have the Wells Fargo next week and then the PGA a couple weeks or the week after that, I'm not playing in the Mexico Open. And why would he? Or even the Zurich, right? Why would he do that? There's no, and I know he didn't play in the Hilton Head, but there's no benefit to him playing either of those events. Like, there should be, at the very minimum, some kind of benefit for him to play in one of those. And he played in neither of them. And that's just using him as an example. But they have a scheduling problem. I know they're switching it up next year. But just thinking about it and kind of watching it, I'm like, I'm a golf fan. And I don't even want to watch this tournament. That's bad.
Yeah, there's a lot there, obviously, and there's all kinds of reasons they do it the way they do that we're just not privy to. Like, I know there's probably they're incentivized on like creating playing opportunities for X number of players, and so they run all these tournaments, blah blah blah. I think somewhat of a better model would be like to have weeks off, like just straight up, like let's not play a golf tournament this week.
Baseball teams in the Major League Baseball, NFL teams, any sport NHL teams, any sport you look at, they have off days and off. Heck, baseball, most of the time, they do have times where they have 2 days without games. Mm-hmm. It's fine to not have something for a better product.
Yeah.
Like you don't, and why they do it in the NBA and the NHL and MLB, because they want the best players on the field. If you have all this time where you just like game, your best players are not always going to be on the field. Mm-hmm. Now, the NBA's trying to figure it out now with the load management and stuff like that, but other sports have figured it out where it's like you don't always have to have a game or an event or a tournament. You just don't. Yeah. And honestly, I think in this case, it would be better if it's like, all right, we're doing away with the Zurich, the Mexico. You're going to have a week off. The crowd would be the viewership would be bigger for the Mexican Open if you didn't have anything that prior week. because you had the Masters and then the Hilton Head and then the Zurich. If you had a week off, I haven't watched golf in a couple of weeks. I'll watch the Mexican Open a little bit. It will draw more people in. I just feel like having a tournament every week is probably their downfall right now.
Yeah, and like I said, it has to do a lot with the way they're structured and incentivized and stuff. So, like, it's probably not an easy fix, but it seems like that makes some sense. And I'm curious just how the pacing of events looks for next season when they actually get into, like, how they are truly envisioning
and
this.
No WGCs or anything like that.
Yeah, this year was like a reaction specifically to, like,
Live.
expediting what happened because of Live.
Yep.
So I think next year, hopefully, there's a better pacing. We don't have, like, a bunch of stacked designated events and then, like, these gaps. Like, hopefully it's just better paced out so that, from both a player and fan perspective,
yeah, absolutely.
you know what you're watching and when you're watching it. And then you, like, But,
where I think they see weeks off as a downfall, I think they could probably use some weeks where it's like you build up some anticipation, right?
Yeah.
Like not having golf on one week, it's like that next week is going to mean a little more to someone that does like to watch golf,
Right.
So, not to get too deep into that, but I was watching it, I just thought, I was like, man, they kind of have a scheduling problem right now. And there's much smarter people in that room talking about their schedule than I am, but they'll probably get it figured out. It might take a couple of years, but
yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Moving on to some fun stuff.
Yeah, not to be Debbie Downer.
Power rankings. We were inspired at our lodge meeting last week. We won't get into the lodge meeting itself.
The details or anything like that. Just know that there was a vote that happened.
There was a vote that happened, and I think you actually witnessed this, so here, you can set the stage.
So we're voting on this subject, and you get a paper ballot, and you mark one of the two. This guy took his pen, he marked it. He dropped, had a little wooden box. He drops his ballot in. Not even a second later, the guy's he's practicing his takeaway. And I lost it. I'm like, he literally drops his ballot in and starts practicing. Like he's really grinding. He's like working on the takeaway. And I tried to get your attention, but you missed it. But it lasted for like 5 or 7 seconds. Immediately after he dropped his ballot in this box. And I was dying.
It's performative art.
Dying. like what an awkward situation. Dude just drops his vote in and just is like, man, my takeaway is just not where it needs to be. And it was just, so it inspired me. And I think I texted you yesterday. I was like, this has got to be something along this line, has to be our power rankings, because this guy just no cares in the world, just practicing his takeaway right in the middle of a room of we have 160 people in there, just no cares in the world.
Yeah. So, I'm sure any golf fan who's on Instagram or Twitter or whatever has seen montages and stuff of people rehearsing their golf swing in public places, all over the place.
Anywhere.
Anywhere, anytime, just always grinding.
The grind never stops.
So we're power ranking the worst places you
can practice,
where you can rehearse your swing. So
your imaginary swing.
These are places you probably should consider not doing that. We respect the grind, but there's a time and a place. So do you want to kick this off, or you want me?
Yeah, so I'll kick it off. Number 6 it's more personal to me because my wife is so on edge during the summer because of the amount of golf I play. Anytime during the summer. It doesn't even matter. You could be in your living room on a Monday. If you practice your swing anytime during the summer when you're playing actual golf, that is a immediate death stare. At least for me anyway. Like if I were to do that in January, probably wouldn't get the looks. If I'm doing that in June, a day after I just played in a scramble or I played 18 holes with you guys in the morning, it's on. Like it is gonna be on.
That's funny you say that because my wife told me that I do this more after I have a lesson, right? So obviously it makes sense, but like,
yeah, you're
those
kind of working on some things that you talked about. Yeah,
I'm probably just randomly doing that. Well, I know I've done this. Like I'll be out at the grill, got the spatula or the tongs in my hands, and like that's my golf club.
and again, but I'll tell you right now, if I was out at the grill, June 15th after playing 18 holes, and she looks out the window over our grill, I'm going to get death stares.
Oh.
And it's more of a personal one for me. Maybe you have a lady friend or a wife that's like a golfer and they kind of understand that. My wife is not a golfer and sometimes doesn't understand summer golf, even though we're in our 11th year of marriage. Figured she might slightly understand it a little bit at this point. But anytime in the summer, if I were to do that, it doesn't matter if we're hanging out by the pool, I'm going to get a death stare. Yeah. So that's my number 6.
My whole list is kind of themed around like, okay, is this disrespectful or are you inconveniencing someone else?
Inconvenience is a good one. I never really thought about that with my list. I guess a little bit, but
so just looking at my list, those are kind of the themes that are going to come up. So my number 6, this might even be higher, and I don't know how you did this, but I feel like we'll have some crossover. This had to get on my list regardless. At a visitation or a funeral.
It's on my list, but it's higher than.
Okay, so here's why. Let me explain. I knew it needed to be on the list.
Oh, it's list worthy regardless. Yeah. Now, whether you rank it, high or low.
It came in at 6 for that reason. Why I also put it at 6 is I think it depends on the person. Because if I die and you guys are at my visitation, grind away. Right? Rehearse that takeaway.
Honestly, it might be like a requirement to be at my service. Yeah, honestly.
Would not offend me or hopefully my family at all. So that's fine. But like, I obviously understand that that's a minority of people who would appreciate that happening at their visitation or their family member.
That's a good one. I like that. Is definitely on my list. Just not. It's a little higher than that though. I feel like you're like at great X person's grandma's funeral and you're over 10 feet away from the casket working on your takeaway. It's a little awkward. Right. Like just slightly awkward. Unless Aunt Sue is a golfer, it's going to be a little awkward.
Yeah. Okay, what's your number 5?
Number 5 for me. And again, this is pure personal experience. I've done this, and I got yelled at a kid's sporting event.
Okay.
And I was at a softball game last year. I was playing golf later that day, and my kid's out on the field, and I'm just kind of I'm standing up and I'm kind of working on things, and I get over, and my wife looks at me and goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And she does not cuss either. And I was like, kind of put my hands down to my side. It was a tough look, and it was in front of people too. I got called out in front of people for doing it. So yeah, and I'm supposed to be paying attention to T-ball.
Yep.
I think it's again more of a personal experience because I've been yelled at for it. But any kids sporting event doesn't matter, or cheerleading because I have daughters too. I've done it there, but I've not gotten caught. But that was 5 for me.
Yeah, so my number 5, and so what was going to be my number 5 involves what you just talked about. I was going to put down just like general, like any like family occasion, right? Like holidays, kids.
And they could probably be all lumped in together, right?
Vacations, anything like that. I think, but I took it off because I just felt like it was too broad of a category.
And maybe specifically, like if you're talking about a whole family event, in-law family event. Like my family wouldn't care. My dad would be like, "Oh yeah, you got a lower takeaway." Yeah, my dad would be like critiquing my takeaway.
Right.
My in-laws probably not because they're not golfers. But I think you could kind of lump those all together for sure.
Yeah, so I left it off, but I totally was there with you. Number 5 for me is at a wedding, especially if you're in the bridal party. Like now. There are some weddings where like it's a very like golf loving couple, right? Like I've seen plenty of that where like they're actually the bride's out there in her dress hitting a ball, stuff like that happens. But the majority of the time, the thing is, this is the bride and groom's day, specifically the bride's day. Anything you do to detract from that is bad.
Dead. You're dead.
And rehearsing your golf swing is just so obvious and like blatant that you cannot do it.
So yes, and that's similar is on my list. Okay, maybe a little more specific.
Okay,
But I will say I talked my wife into getting married at a golf course, and I also talked her into having a picture with the groomsmen hitting a golf ball with the bridesmaids behind them.
I remember this, yeah.
So, yes, but I was also told at that moment that this is the only amount of golf that's going to be involved in our ceremony. So, I'm assuming that goes for fake swings or imaginary swings as well. So, yeah, I like that one. Mine's a little more specific in my list, but yeah.
Number 4 for you.
Out to dinner with your wife or significant other. Again, a little more personal. I've done this. If you're in the Cincinnati area, Liberty Center, we're out to dinner a couple years ago. Had a little bit of a wait to get in the restaurant, and I'm kind of out in the waiting area. I'm just, I'm practicing, just trying to get a little work in. Not on the golf course, and didn't know words were needed. She came back from the bathroom, looked at me, and I knew I was a dead man from that point forward. It's our night. We don't get many nights out. We have 3 kids. And it was like, you're really going to be working on your golf swing right now. Again, personal. Maybe it's happened to you. Maybe it's not. Don't do it. I'll tell you, you will get a death stare or death threat, one of the two. But that's my number 4. Again, a lot of these are personal experiences.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to not practice my golf swing as much in public, but
I think we're learning that. I mean, these are on our list of worst places to do it, and you've done all of them, essentially.
I've done a lot of these.
My number 4 was at a restaurant. I didn't make it specific to, me being out at a restaurant, but just generally, especially when you were this guy, don't do it when you're in, all these restaurants have this shitty, small waiting area. There's no room for you
Someone's
going to
take a video of you, by the way.
Well,
just
yeah,
that,
you know. But, there's, hostesses are trying to do their job. There's servers running in and out. You got all these people waiting around. There's, no space. Just...
You're lucky to even have a seat, to be honest.
Exactly.
You just you're there practicing your
tuck
swing.
yourself into a corner and just sit there and be a respectable human being. Okay? My God. All right. Number 3 for you.
Oh. All right. Business meeting or business anything. You lunch. Although I do have lunch with a couple people tomorrow that are golfers. And if I did it there, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I have done it, again, personal. I have done it in a sales rally format. And people are like, what the fuck is this guy doing over here? I'm like, hey, the grind never stops. It doesn't stop on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't matter what we're doing here today.
You got league that night, so.
Yeah. So, but it is definitely pretty, depending. Now, my boss and the guy that owns the company that I work for, they're huge golfers. If he saw me doing it, he would probably mad respect. But my peers are probably the ones judging me for doing it. And it is pretty unacceptable because again, like what you said, the whole sitting in the lobby, you have hostesses trying to do their job. You'd probably be focusing on doing your job a little more. It probably doesn't it doesn't garner the respect of your peers very well if you're all right, I got league night tonight at 4:30 or 5 or whatever, and I'm over here working on my swing at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Always be selling.
At a company-wide sales meeting.
Always be selling, colliding with always be golfing.
Yeah. So, again, personal, but I've done it. So,
I'm sitting here right now, and I actually think that I'm gonna flip-flop my own 2 and 3 here because I'm just sitting here reading them, and I think I want to. This is my list, damn it. Number 3. On public transit. Yeah. See, I don't ride public transit much. I know you have. Yeah, well, and I'm just including airplanes, planes, trains, automobiles,
just anything.
Every kind of public transit. We already have enough bad behavior, especially on airplanes and in airports. We don't need this. I'm
not going to say. I would say I've done it in an airport several times.
I guess it depends where in the airport you're doing that, but still feels wrong to me. We're there to get from one place to the next. I don't need anything slowing me down, disrupting the processes that are in place. It's all.
I've seen a guy do it in a TSA line before, the security line.
That's what I mean. Stop. We don't need
hey, dude, get your. And then it'll always be that guy. I don't remember seeing this guy disrupting the flow of the security line. But like, you know, he's going to have his belt on. He's going to have his shoes on. He's not going to know what to do.
3 different times.
Yeah, he didn't take his laptop out of his backpack. You just know if he's doing that in the security line, he is not prepared to go through security, essentially.
No.
So I get that. More so planes than anything, but yeah, you're doing it in a crowded subway or something if you live in New York, or, you know, if you're on a bus going, you know, somewhere.
Right.
It's a little, it's probably taboo, socially taboo. I would say.
Yeah, I mean that, and it's, you know, like I said, a lot of these places are just like, it's too many people in a small place. We just don't need extra.
no extra.
Don't make your body any bigger than it is.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's number 3.
All right, 2.
Yep.
Here's where we kind of intersect here.
Okay.
The groom on his wedding day.
Oh, yeah.
You don't do it anywhere. In the bathroom away from viewing is when you do it, if you're going to do it. But let's just blanket law, do not do it on your wedding day. And most certainly don't do it at the altar. Holy crap. You would be divorced before you were even married. I don't even know if that's possible. But the groom on his wedding day should not even remotely think about golf, or you're going to be a dead guy. Most certainly don't do a fake practice swing.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. It was on
Again,
my list.
A little more specific than yours, but along the same lines.
So number 2 for me, at a professional golf tournament.
That's a good one. God, I didn't think about that.
These are the same. It's the same people that wear their golf shoes. They bring their rangefinders. It's like that guy that's out there doing it. Like
the guy that wears his golf shoes to a professional golf tournament might be my enemy for life, because I can't stand it. And that is the guy that's sitting behind the tee box watching John Rahm hit a tee shot, and he's like, "Oh, what did he do there?" And he's like practicing.
And he's like, "Oh, he keeps it short, like I shorten my backswing."
Also, tight quarters, right?
Yep.
You know, you get these big crowds for like the really big stars, and you're kind of crunched in. You're all kind of trying to see what's going on, and you have this dude that's like, you know, in tight quarters trying to practice a practice swing. I've never done that one personally because I respect people's space too much. But yeah, and also because I hate golf shoe guy at a professional tournament.
This is
You're not playing today, pal.
This is a true wedding crashers. Like, you know, don't call. What's the quote? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on this. Like, we're gonna have to cut this because I messed it up.
What are you trying to think about?
The quote from Wedding Crashers, one of the rules, like, so about calling attention to yourself in a negative way.
Oh,
it's like call attention to yourself, but on your own terms.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's what we got to say.
That is exactly right. That's what golf shoe guy does too. Like, it's not even golf swing guy at a tournament. It's golf shoe guy. He's a general guy that is going to do that at a golf tournament.
Yeah,
100%. That is a good one. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more I despise than golf shoe guy at a golf tournament. Like, you're not playing today, pal. Like,
I know.
Wear some gym shoes.
It's fine.
You're fine.
Gonna get that wet. It's fine.
Yeah. Like, that's God, I didn't even think about that one. I'm so mad at myself for not thinking about that. Because I've seen it. I know I've seen it happen.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
I've not done it because I'm not that guy. I don't wear golf shoes to a professional tournament. I definitely would not practice my swing in a professional tournament. But they're out there. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah. All right, on to number 1.
All right. So what was your 6 as my 1? I've got funeral.
Okay. God, that's the second time we've done power rankings that my 6 is your 1.
I've got funeral, and just from the standpoint of, you know, you got, and depending on what type of funeral you're going to, I don't care if they're super close to you, you're, you know, kind of distant, or you don't really know them, you're just kind of showing up for support. Man, is that a bad place to do work on the game?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's just not the spot to do it. I will say, this is not personal. I've never done it at a funeral. Now, God forbid, you know, one of my friends passes away and, you know, I'm at his funeral. I'd probably do it just out of like, hey, I did it. You know, he would respect the fact that I'm still working on my game at that age, I would probably do it. But I have not done this, and I don't plan on doing this, and probably till that point. So,
no, it's just one of those. I think the general, vibe. It's almost, this is a weird comp, but it's the same as like at the kids' game, right? Like your attention is supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be on your
else.
golf game.
I guess that's true for most of these.
It's like Aunt Susie died or Aunt Sally died, right? And you're like, I'm not even thinking about her. I'm thinking about my takeaway right now.
Yeah.
It's a tough look.
That's tough. And I'm going to go ahead and get out in front of this now because I just had to look it up and get this right. I cannot believe I botched that Wedding Crashers rule. It'd be rule number 6. Do not sit in the corner and sulk. In this case, do not practice your golf swing in a professional golf tournament.
Yeah.
It draws attention in a negative way. Draw attention to yourself, but on your own terms.
Yes, there it is. Yeah, I like that.
That's a pre-apology. Accountability, live.
Hey, live accountability that's the best kind of accountability.
Exactly. All right, my number 1. This, I'm kind of shocked this didn't come up on your list with your prolificness in this category. I was informed by my wife today that I actually did this in the delivery room.
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, so...
Especially for what happened in my last kid. Playing in league night the day that we got released from the hospital.
Yeah, that... No comment from me.
I don't even know why I brought that back up.
No, you should not have brought that back up.
Oh, man, that's bad.
But yeah, in the delivery room, like, the mom-to-be is there in labor, enduring, pain beyond our wildest dreams, about to give you the greatest joy of your life, and you're worried about your position at the top. And the bad thing is... I can't
believe this didn't make my list. I
said.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah, it just is like we're golfers. We do. It's a subconscious thing we do, and we don't even notice it.
No.
But I think us making this list, hopefully, we're calling attention to it. Maybe we can all be a little more self-aware.
I mean, I don't plan on having any more kids because 3's plenty. If anybody wants one, let me know. But yeah, if I don't think I did that actually. Now I did play in league night the day we got released from the hospital. But I did not practice my swing during that time. So kudos to me for not doing it.
I guess.
But I did take that moment of me playing in league night the day we got released from the hospital still gets brought up in a lot of arguments. Like you literally left me at home the day after we had a kid.
Yeah, I'll.
Fair enough. You win.
If I'm at your visitation, I'll be practicing my golf swing, and
I'll
be reminding everybody that you did.
Remember that one time? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I can't believe I didn't think of that. That's a really, really good one. Really good one, honestly.
So there you have it. The top 6 places you should not practice your golf swing.
That's awesome. I like it. Don't do it.
Yeah, just don't. Moving on, we're on to Patio Beers now.
Yeah, let's get self-destruct button. Let's take our hand off that for a second.
Maybe, who knows what these questions are going to be. Look, we don't pre-screen these questions. We ask each other one question each, have to answer it. That is the basis of
them the
Patio
rules.
Beers.
Them the rules.
Who went first last week?
I think
I asked you last week.
Yeah, you went first last week, so I'm going to go first this week.
All right.
So I'm going to stick with the non-golf question this week. What is your favorite television character ever? Television, not movie.
Oh,
television.
God, this is...
I have my favorite. Question. I have my favorite. It will never, unless something drastically changes, or like something, a new show comes out that drastically changes it, but mine is pretty much set in stone.
I mean, we learned last week how few movies I've actually seen, so I'm glad you asked about TV.
No, but I know your knowledge of television. So.
Television is much more where I spend my time. That said, I will just get out in front of this too. Tremendous blind spot for me is like anything HBO. Never had it growing up. And
mine's not HBO. My favorite character is not HBO.
So I got to qualify this. I'm going to give you a couple because there's like comedy and there's drama.
Pick one of them.
Pick one?
Mine's comedy. I'll tell you that. Because I think those are the ones that we can connect to the most.
That's true, and I think that this person I'm thinking of is a much more endearing character, but like
All right, give them both. I kind of want to know now.
Well, I want to talk through them at least, and then maybe I'll decide.
Let's hear your candidates.
Obviously,
and then you can pick one.
Look, I'm a huge Office fan, so Michael Scott is on the list for me. You could go from that show. There's so many great
Is that
characters.
Drama or I'm
That's
assuming comedy?
That's
yeah.
comedy. You could go Dwight. You could, there's smaller characters in there like Creed that are just like absolute bangers of characters. But I think Michael is truly like, the heart and soul and everything of that show.
And that show was never the same without him.
Correct.
Like it was good, but it wasn't great like it was with him.
Yeah. So, that's like an all-time comedy character, and that's my favorite show. So, drama-wise, just massive Don Draper fan.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm glad I let you kind of talk through it because Don Draper is the ultimate man, like...
Which is not my vibe at all.
Does things that, like, I wouldn't do.
Exactly.
Right? Like, dude, the guy's got balls, right? But to do the things that he does, and honestly, probably a little unethical. Probably a lot unethical. But, no, that's a good one. I like that.
So, even for Mad Men, that's another show that has a ton of great characters. I mean, Roger Sterling is, like, one of the goats as well.
Yeah.
So... If I had to pick, just because it's like the show that I watch the most and it's my favorite, it would probably be Michael Scott from The Office. But God, it's really close between him and Don Draper for me.
Okay, that's a good one. So I guess I went a little different direction when I was kind of thinking about mine when I thought of this question.
Oh shit! Hold on, I'm going to interrupt you right now. Sorry if this is who it is for you. Ted Lasso has entered the chat for me.
Okay, so he was he was in the discussion, but because there's only going to be 3 seasons.
Yeah.
I was a little out on it. I'm like, okay, most of the two guys that I thought of when I thought of this question, these shows were on for like 8 or 9 seasons or even longer. The first one that I will say that I've decided is in second place is Ari Gold from Entourage.
Yeah, Entourage just missed me, but I know.
Again, it's an HBO show. Yeah. And honestly, when it came out, I didn't see it. It was after it had already gone off the air that I finally watched every season. And Ari Gold, he's the husband. He's dealing with a nagging wife. He's a businessman. He's a good businessman. Just the whole, and he's the stuff. He's angry all the time, but it's funny, and that to me is like, and he's got the best one-liners. I'm sure everybody's seen the GIF where he writes on there, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, everybody's seen that GIF, I'm pretty sure. So, like, that was 2. It was close. But my number 1, and when I really started to think about the GIFs I use and the things I quote from shows, it's Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, that's up there, too, for me.
I mean, like, he's my number 1. Just, from the episode of him being Bobby Knight, disciple. It's like he shows him the pyramid of success and all this stuff, like throwing away his computer, wants to be off the grid, like steak and bacon and, good bourbon and scotch. Like the whole complete package of someone that's, I think everybody has that person in their family or either wants to be like the hardcore, like I drink scotch and eat steak and vegans are the enemy and stuff. Like everybody's got that in their family, or they kind of try to act like that. So that's why. And again, one-liners off the charts. Like that's what I go by, because comedy in television shows, unlike movies, is like strictly one-liners, because you have all these episodes spread over time, and if you can remember like more than 5 of their one-liners, like that is a success to me. And he has hundreds of one-liners, like hundreds.
I think that's what works for Michael Scott too.
Yeah. Again, that's exactly the same way. Like you remember so many Michael Scott quotes that's where the comedy's at, right? So that Ron Swanson is my favorite television character ever.
Yeah,
I love The Office, but Parks and Rec is slightly ahead of that as far as my rankings for like actual. But I love both of them. And I know there's not a lot of Office fans out. Like there is a lot of Office fans, but I felt like Parks and Rec hit more of a wide range of people, where The Office was like kind of dry comedy. You kind of had to. You didn't necessarily have to watch it from the beginning, but I feel like it was you either love The Office or you hate The Office. Parks and Rec is like they had a more wide range of characters where it's like you could like it a little more. It kind of reached more people, I think, at least. But Ron Swanson, the man's man mustache ride guy, is my number one television character.
Yeah, I can support that.
I knew you would. I would assume he was probably at least top 5 for you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's a great question. Moving on to mine, I want to know, what is your most unpopular, or I guess you could say hottest, food take?
Get us trash.
Whew. God, that is like a dagger to the heart of Cincinnati.
It is, and I grew up here, and I like every food odd, for most people, spaghetti, cheese, and chili, and onions, and beans is weird. I love that. I live by that. I will die on that hill. But Geta is absolute trash.
Wow.
Trash. It's absolute garbage. It is meat and whatever else is thrown in there. I don't even know. It's trash.
I assume it's essentially like oats and spices.
Yeah, it's trash.
I'll apologize.
Might as well be trash. Like, I'm not a pig. Feed me, like, actual stuff. You don't have to mash stuff together to feed me. It's trash. Geta is the absolute worst. And I don't know how many people really connect with that is not in Cincinnati. But let's just put it this way. That is a cardinal sin for someone that's from Cincinnati. Not liking Geta.
Yes, I mean, the city's nickname is like Porkopolis at one point, right? Like, we're the pork city. The Geta is a pork product,
but I love bacon and I love sausage and like I love that stuff. I just don't like Geta. It doesn't get my wheels turning. It doesn't get my juices flowing.
I mean, I will say Geta is one of those things that like I don't really ever make it at home, but like if it's there, I'm gonna eat it, and I will order it, from a menu if it's available. And I'm just kind of shook right now, to be honest with you. You came out with that so quickly that I
talk about it all the time, and I think most people that I've talked to about it would on. It's not. Everybody thinks it's this like great cuisine. It's like it's not good. Like if you take a step back, like I'm from Cincinnati, you take a step back, it's trash.
Okay, no, I respect.
Like when someone doesn't like Skyline, I don't argue with them why they should like Skyline. I'm like, no, it's an acquired taste. I get it. But like with Geta, people don't do that. They're like, what do you mean it's sausage and oats? And I'm like, yeah, it's what I would feed my dog. Okay? I'm not going to feed my dog Skyline. I will feed my dog Geta because it's trash. It's like grade D meat mixed with oats and whatever the heck else is in there.
That's cool.
And I will die, again, I will die on that hill. Never been to Geta Fest. Never done any of that. No plans to. If that's the only food, I'll go hungry. So that's gonna piss a lot of people off. But I'm
curious to see how people react to that because I don't know because I feel like Geta is also that could be a very hot and cold thing for people. I could see people loving or hating it.
Most people I know from Cincinnati love it. Like 95% of people from Cincinnati love it. Again, they might not make it at their house, but if they're out and they're like, oh, get a whatever, they're going to get it. Mm-hmm. And they're going to like it. But I refuse to eat it. I've had it 3 times, and I thought the next time's going to be better. Nope, never is. Never is. So.
Okay. Well, mine is a little more, I don't know, I might get killed for this one too. I think Chick-fil-A stinks.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Time out. Yeah, no, you deserve to get absolutely analogy, Jesus chicken, you deserve to get crucified for that. Because that is insane. Let me ask you this. What fast food restaurant do you like more than Chick-fil-A? Don't say Chipotle, because that's not fast food.
I think part of it is, there's a lot going on here. One, I'm just not a fast food person in general, so like...
You aren't. I'll give you that. You are not. Like, it's not like, oh, McDonald's is better than Chick-fil-A or something like that.
I don't have any of that kind of take.
Yeah.
I guess my point is that it's like very overrated, and I think there's two reasons here. One, it's like their most popular thing, like the straight up chicken sandwich, like isn't good. Like I would rather get like their salads, like instead of like their number one menu item. Like it's chicken on a bun with two pickles.
Their salads aren't bad. I like their salads. They're good.
Right. I just think if you're going to have like your signature thing, like it should be more than just a chicken patty and bread and two pickles. Like
I don't even get the pickles on it.
That's what I mean.
It's like a top 3 restaurant for me.
Yeah. So, and look, I love waffle fries. The problem with fast food waffle fries is they're just perpetually soggy. Like it's hard to get like, I don't know, because it usually sits in a bag for a minute and gets condensation.
Yeah, I will say, in like any restaurant, if you eat in, it's probably better. Like if you
true.
eat in the restaurant, it's probably better instead of taking a 10-minute drive home and next thing you know, it's all soggy.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the Chick-fil-A menu as a whole, like you have the regular chicken sandwich, the spicy chicken sandwich. Oh, you don't like breading? You can get grilled chicken. You can get grilled chicken nuggets. They're breaded chicken nuggets. Someone said they're soaked in pickle juice, which I don't know if that's true or not. Don't sue me if it's not. The taste of it, and I guess the one thing I will agree on is when people say they like Chick-fil-A because the service is good. I was like, let's be honest. The service bar for fast food is set so low. If they just don't mess your order up, it'll be a good restaurant.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
And they don't, but they also are super nice. So, and if you go there on Thursday nights, they have a magician that comes through the dining area, which is kind of cool.
Like at every restaurant?
I'm pretty sure it's every restaurant. At least the one near us does that. They have a magician that comes through and he's doing tricks and keeping the kids entertained. And sorry, like that.
I'm not trying to go get assaulted by David Blaine while I'm eating my chicken nuggets.
You're going to take a lot of backlash for that because
okay. Number two, why
it does. I will say most of the times I want Chick-fil-A are on Sundays, and it does.
That's the thing. That's my number 2. You can I get whatever, fine. You know, some companies are like this. They have some sort of moral stance. They don't work on Sundays. But for God's sakes, the Atlanta Falcons and the Mercedes-Benz Dome.
It's not open on
have
Sunday.
A Chick-fil-A there. They play their football games on Sundays, and they can't even serve it.
Yeah,
to
it's open
the fans.
2 games a year because they probably don't play. They play like a Saturday night.
And I know there's college games that happen, so they have it open for those and stuff like that. But
I would say from a stance of sponsoring something, that's an odd thing to sponsor, knowing that you're not open on Sundays.
Yeah, and it's just the majority of times that I've wanted fast food is probably a Sunday after I'm
you have like a party or something on Saturday night, and
and it's like an easy meal you can get and all that stuff.
And Chick-fil-A, the quality food from Chick-fil-A is better than most. Like chicken, I feel like some places is kind of gross.
Yeah,
their chicken is actually chicken,
right?
So it's good quality. You're like, all right, I'm gonna eat like a turd, but at least at the very minimum, I know it's not some chicken abstract thing. It's actually chicken. So
yeah, so I'll get it if if I'm getting fast food. And
then I'm not even counting their shakes and the lemonade, the frozen lemonade. Oh man, dude, it's an all around menu. It hits, and then the Polynesian sauce, the Chick-fil-A sauce. Yeah, dude, you're gonna get some haters for this one because I'm telling you right now.
Bring it.
Man, that's crazy.
Yep. These questions are just becoming, how can I get an own goal in myself? That's how I'm approaching Patio Beers from now on.
You thought I was going to hit a lot of nerves at Ghetto. That is going to hit a nerve for a lot of people because Chick-fil-A, and I'm sure everybody's been at a Chick-fil-A drive-thru line that's wrapped around the building because that's every single Chick-fil-A in the entire country. So, oof. I want out of this. I love you, Chick-fil-A.
We might have killed a couple of potential sponsor opportunities in the future in this episode.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Ooh, let's get off this subject real quick. I don't need Jesus looking down on me right now.
The Jesus chicken?
The Jesus chicken, man. Oh, goodness. Okay.
Right, well, so we'll get out of here on this because I know you didn't know I was doing this, and when you found out, you're like, all right, I want to set an over-under. I am running the half marathon this weekend.
Which is
13.1 miles. I only gave myself 8 weeks to train. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I was training for it in 2020, and then COVID happened, and then I never picked it up since. So I'm finally doing it. My my stretch goal is 2 hours to get it done in 2 hours.
That's a pace.
Not the math to get to 1:59:59 I think is 9 minutes and 9 seconds mile pace, which I can do. I've done that. I have not yet run 13 because you don't do that.
You don't do that. No. Same with the training for a marathon. You never do the full
Yeah.
marathon until the day of. Yep.
So,
Because I'm assuming like with the half marathon, it's like the last 3 or 4 miles is all mental, right? Like you're running. Same with them. I know people that have run full marathons and they're like the last. You usually get up to about 20 miles or 18 miles, and the last 8 to 6 miles is completely mental.
yeah. So
Essentially, right? Am I wrong in that thinking?
No, yeah, it's got to be. The longest run I've done during the training is 12 miles, and it was like the last 2 was like kind of like my feet and legs were just kind of like they were kind of almost numb at that point, and you're just moving, and it is what it is. But what I can't account for is a couple things. One, the weather on the day, because this training season has been god awful. It has been cold and rainy and windy the whole time I've been training.
It's pretty nice on Sunday, I think.
Sunday's
right?
not bad at all. Highs in the 60s, partly cloudy kind of day. So it's actually a really good running day.
Yeah.
But if there's like headwinds and stuff and all that's a mess. 2, I just don't know what like the adrenaline of doing the race would do.
Yeah, you might be a little hyped up for it.
Which could either like be
like you're a golfer and you club down because you got some adrenaline going.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So there's a lot of factors at play.
And in Cincinnati, let's just be honest, like hilly.
Yeah.
Like,
so thankfully
up here in Westchester, it's hilly, but it's not
like the
downtown hilly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the 7
Just
hills
I've ran the Thanksgiving race a couple times, and then the Heart race in March a couple times, like 5Ks. And, I have no problem, like, on a treadmill running a 5K. But you get a 5K, going up and down hills, like, that's a whole nother ballgame. So there is that factor, too.
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with the hills. My neighborhood's actually got pretty good incline from front to back of it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's not
doing that a lot.
It's not steep, but it's
very gradual.
Very gradual.
Consistent.
Yeah. Yep.
So long story short, when you sign up, you have to like estimate what you're going to do so that they can like group you appropriately.
Yeah, so you're not like holding back the people that are going to win.
So I put myself in the 2 to 2:04 bucket because I just thought that's a 9.5 pace.
And it might help you push yourself too, because like
True.
What I'm thinking is people are all gonna, you have like the 850 or 825 guy that's gonna be like, well, just to be safe, I'm gonna say 9. So you're gonna have people that are gonna be pushing you too.
Yeah. So we're looking. I think I'm gonna end up coming in between 2 hours and 2 hours and 4 minutes. My goal is to be under 2. So I don't know what a fair
I'd say
number.
2 hours and 2.5 minutes is probably
okay.
That would be that's because that's right in the middle of what you want to do.
Yep.
And what you think you're capable of, right?
Yeah.
Or what you do and what you're capable of. Excuse me. So I would think 2:02 would be like a good over under.
All right, we'll set it at 2:02. I'm personally going to take the under because I just think I'm going to do it.
Because I believe in you, I think I'm going to take the under as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your service and your support there.
And then I guess this coming week, personally, golf stance.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have league. We have the spring scramble. Birdies are better. If you've never played in the birdies are better scramble, the best format of scramble,
it's a blast.
I think. Everybody putts. You can go 4 under on a hole if you hit one close. You definitely don't want to hole one out because then you can't all just get up there and tap it in. And then I'm playing an event when we record next Monday. I'm playing an event, a 2-man event with our guy Jared from the Elks out at Still Meadow on the east side of town. 2-day event. It's scramble the first day and then best ball the second day. So we got some golf coming up. And then we're less than 2 weeks. We are exactly 2 weeks out from my U.S. Open qualifiers.
Oh, my God. All right. We need to plan some stuff out for this.
And next week, we're going to set some – I'll tell you, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get a practice round in, and I've never played this course.
Where's it at?
Coldstream.
Okay.
So we're going to set some over-unders for that next week. So you get the over-under this week. I'll get the over-under next week. Yours is not golf-related, but I'm going to take the under on 2:02, and then we'll see. Hopefully. I think you can do it.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you for your support. All right, we're going to get out of here. Follow us on social media, Instagram and Twitter at back96back with a number 9. Same thing in our Gmail if you want to reach out, give us some corrections. I think we made several mistakes this episode.
Oh, there's 100% going to be some mistakes.
So feel free to shoot us an email, back96back at gmail.com. And until then, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.